welcome to live Facebook webinar on National Survey on Asian Indian Nurses who resides in United States. My name is Suja Thomas, NINA Communications Chair and moderator of the session.
Webinar on National Survey.
This survey will benefit the Indian community in many ways. First and foremost, it will help find out how many licensed practical nurses, registered professional nurses, and advanced practice nurses are living in each state. Secondly, knowing where these specialized resources are in the community helps to plan and provide targeted, culturally and linguistically preventive and promotive healthcare and patient education. Thirdly, to conduct research on health and well-being of Asian Indians utilizing the competency and the skill of advanced practice providers from the same community. Fourthly, to invest in preventive care for high-risk illness in the Asian communities. Let's welcome Dr. Agnes Terady, President of NINA, to welcome and introduce the task force and the panelists. Welcome, Dr. Agnes Terady.
Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to this live webinar. We're glad that you could make the time and come to this webinar. Hopefully, this is going to be something that's going to make a difference to what you're trying to do to help join together and become one group of Indian nurses from Asian Indian origin. So today we have with us few members of our task force. This survey was undertaken by the National Association of Indian Nurses of America, and we are having a task force of 15 members. Most of us are present here today, and we also have our chapter presidents. Akama Kalel, she is the chapter president of Indian Nurses Association of Greater Houston. Annie Abraham, she is our president of the chapter from Illinois, and they are called as Indian Nurses Association of Illinois. We have Prasanna Parkal. She is the president of the chapter from San Antonio, and they're known as SINA, San Antonio Indian Nurses Association. And we have Tara Shajan, who actually celebrated their virtual Nurses Week this morning, and she's the president of the Indian Nurses Association of New York. Our panel members include Lata Joseph, who is the current secretary of NINA, Lavina Patel, who is a NINA member from Maryland. We have Sarah Gabriel, who is one of our founding presidents of NINA, and she's on our advisory board at this time. We have Ingrid D'Souza, who is a member of NINA from Houston chapter. We have Simi Jester, who is a member of NINA from Illinois chapter. Solimol Kurwela, who is actually one of our ex-presidents of the National Association of Indian Nurses of America and currently serves on the advisory board of NINA. Mary Phillip, who is the election chair of a National Association of Indian Nurses of America. Alpi Rahman, who currently serves in two roles. She is the chair of the education committee for NINA, as well as the president of Maryland chapter. Jessie Kurian, who is a member of our I-90 chapter, Indian Nurses Association of New York. Bobby Varghese, who is the president of the Indian Nurses Association of South Florida. And I am sorry if I'm missing some other members on this, on our team who's here. Could you help me, Suja, if you can see them?
Mary Abraham, did you mention her?
Mary Abraham?
Mary Phillip. Mary Phillip.
I'm here.
I think
Mary Phillip was mentioned. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All righty. So these are the members who are who are present in today's webinar. And if I may be able to say that this is the heavy lifting task force who's done tremendous work so far, including our 4 presidents who are here, to make the survey a reality. Over to you, Suja and Sami.
Thank you, Dr. Terady. Now we are going to have the president's speech. The first, I would like to introduce Akama Kalel. Ms. Akama Khalil is a nurse practitioner who works at Michael E. Debaki VA Medical Center, Houston, and she is the president of Indian American Nurses Association of Greater Houston for last 4 years. She is very passionate in medical missions, community outreach activities, and educational activities, has coordinated and conducted multiple medical missions to underdeveloped countries like Ethiopia, India, and Haiti. Under her leadership, IENAG was instrumental in building a primary care clinic in Canaan, Haiti in 2018 and led a medical mission to Haiti. Also led a team of nurses for Kerala flood relief in 2018 and raised about 25,000 for the relief efforts for Kerala. Most recently, IENAG is involved in many COVID-19 relief projects like financial support given to NINA chapters in New York and New Jersey, the epic centers of COVID-19, to help their community and nurses, help the Houston community by educating the community in collaboration with Dashkin Radio, 2 educational programs for the community on prevention of COVID-19 was done through the radio, reached out to all our members regularly through phone call, WhatsApp, and email. And also a webinar on coping with stress was done to uphold all our nurses. Donated 1,000 N95 masks, gowns, and PPE to a nursing home and to a hospital. Thousands of homemade masks made by our members were donated to the community and healthcare workers. Collaborated with other local organizations and provided food for the low-income area school children and 3,000 families. Still collaborating and reaching out to families in need of food. With that great introduction, I would like to welcome Mrs. Akama Khalil.
Thank you, Suja, for that kind introduction. I am so glad to join our NINA task force today on this great mission. This is everyone's responsibility, and I take it very seriously that our organization do our part to make it happen. Indian American Nurses Association of Greater Houston, we empower the world team. Together, everyone achieves more. So we have 3 strategies we are using, 3 C's. One is communication, second one is commitment, third one is collaboration. So the way we communicate to our members is very important. We empower each one of them. We try to talk to them, if possible, regularly by phone, but mostly through email and WhatsApp. We communicate daily, especially on this survey, and we motivate them regularly, daily, and we update them. We identified it through communication. We identified ambassadors and volunteers to help us with this task. And I'm very glad that Ingrid D'Souza, she's our ambassador. She voluntarily took upon her, come forward and told me that she will help. So Ingrid is doing a tremendous job in putting all this together, communicating and reaching out to all our members and really motivating them. And we can see a difference in 1 week what is happening, because when we get back to them and appreciate them and say, here we are standing now and this is what we have to achieve. So the communication part is very well working. Next one is commitment. So we tell each one of them, once you sign or once you complete the survey, please make sure you reach out to at least 5 people, minimum 5 people next level. Each member is asked to ask another 5 people who are not members of our organization and get them. So they can be either in our state or out of state from their schools or wherever. So that is working. And some people, we were really surprised to see that some young members already did for 30 people from their group. So it's increasing and we have hope in this. And the last one is like collaborating. So the collaboration is very important. That's what Houston always do. And I can say that that's what I learned. Our success is collaborating with other local organizations and community leaders, especially in this one, we collaborated with local churches, local temples, and with we conducted the North Indian Community Deshi Group. There is a Deshi Group, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. They have a large North Indian business community. So we asked to put in all their websites and everything so that they can bring this message to everyone who don't even know there is a nursing organization that exists. And we also conducted the Indian Consulate, and we asked them to put in their community information session so this can be reached to all people of Indian origin so that they can also participate. And we currently right now, when we were here, I got text that we requested 3 radio stations in Houston. The great news is we have nurses as anchors in all 3. And we requested 3 radio stations, and they are posting in their Facebook, and they are giving the message through their radio station. So we are trying to reach a big group of community out there. And also through local newspapers, we have a Voice of Asia newspaper and Nerkarcha, and there are some local newspapers. We send this message and link to them, so they will be putting that, and we will be reaching a larger group of people on this. And again, other thing is we always try to make personal connection. There are a lot of lost friends, senior nurses who are retired, who don't look at their email, who don't look up WhatsApp. We try to call them, and it brings the joy for them when they get a call from us, and then they get excited and they are trying to help with us. And also we are trying to do like the word and getting their answers and doing for them if possible, if they don't have the technical skills. And that said, we are trying to do the best, and Houston chapter promised that we will do our best to reach our goal. And I just want to finish by a quote from W. Clement Stone. Success is achieved and maintained by those who try and keep trying. So let's keep trying till we succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Akama Khalil. You're doing a wonderful job in your chapter. Thank you for all your hard work and contribution to NINA.
It's the teamwork.
Absolutely.
Right.
The next we have Annie Abraham. Dr. Annie Abraham currently serves as the Associate Vice President for Nursing at Rush University Medical Center, Chicago, Illinois. Prior to working at Rush, Annie had many leadership roles, including Chief Nursing Officer at a community hospital. Annie is the president of the Indian Nurses Association of Illinois and has been a member of this association since its inception. The Illinois chapter has over 170 members, and similar to other chapters, offers CE seminars, engages in community service, offers scholarships for students, and provides charity funds to those in need. The COVID-19 season has been the most unusual time in the nursing history. A pandemic of this magnitude has never happened in the US. The NI chapter member had planned a Nurses Week celebration on May 3rd, but due to directives of the social gathering, they had to cancel the celebration. To acknowledge the nurses and their contributions during this year of nurse, ENI sent a gift to its members. Additionally, they reached out to its members through personal calls, held Zoom meetings, where the nurses could share their experience, and served as panelists in Zoom meetings led by other organizations. ENI is providing a webinar on 31st at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to all its members. Invited Dr. Abraham Thomas as internist to speak about COVID-19 latest development and treatments. A dance therapy session also will be provided to help distress from the current corona climate. ENI is an active organization with members that hold beside and leadership positions in the healthcare organizations and university settings. Annie, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So I fully support and I understand the need to conduct a national survey for all Asian Indian nurses in the US under the banner of NINA. a demographic survey, understanding the gender, the age, the area of work, the level of education, et cetera, is important. To collate and to be updated at some sort of a decided frequency. It's great to get started now, but once we have started, I think we need to continue updating it. So there's strength in numbers. Many of you have said it. I think I watched the last webinar. I think, Sarah, this is one of your quotes. So during this unprecedented times and most unusual times in nursing history, nurses became the superheroes at the forefront, running towards, not away from, a virus that has cost the lives of over 100,000 people in the US. And so we know that there are 4 million nurses in the United States, and about, I've heard this number, 7,000 of them are Indian nurses. So we have not been able to realize the collective impact of the Indian nurses due to the lack of accurate and complete data. So my vision to support NINA and its task force is really using grassroots methods to collect the data. The response rate from Illinois, when I last looked, is about 200, 210. We need to do better. Sharing the response rates at some regular cadence. Right now we're doing once a week, but it'd be nice to share that at regular cadence to our members. We plan to do that. What we've done so far is use social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, emails, to encourage participation, and also using our connections to reach nurses that are at workplaces and churches. So by listening to just Akana just before me, I noted a lot of ideas about how we can do better through radio, through newspaper. I plan to do that, so this was very helpful for me. So just looking forward to helping support this in any way. I believe that we need to get counted. There are many reasons why to get counted. So just like I believe, we need to convince our members and non-members. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abraham. Great job. And that's our goal too, reach as much as people out there. The next speaker is Prasanna Parakal. I would like to invite Prasanna Parakal, the founder and the first president of SINA, San Antonio Indian Nurses Association. Within 1 year of inception, they have conducted conferences and gala. During this pandemic, they have contributed 1,000 hygiene kits for Haven of Hope, which received special commendation from City of San Antonio Mayor, which was highlighted in San Antonio Express News. During COVID-19 season, they recognized their nurses with bravery certificate to nurses working with COVID patients. The chapter did a donation for feeding the hungry during the pandemic lockdown in India. SINA collaborated with 22 Indian associations and collected cloth masks that was distributed to healthcare workers in various hospitals in San Antonio. With that, let me present Prasanna Parakal, the president of SINA.
Thank you for having me. It's a great honor and privilege to join with the NINA's task force with experienced people. Indeed, we don't know what we got until we lose it. But at the same time, we don't know what we have been missing until it arrives. It's an anonymous card. Hello, friends. A survey has been proposed by the NINA, and it's out already for the Asian Indian nurses to fill up and complete it. It is our duty to encourage our community members, co-workers, colleagues to fill up the survey and be united under the umbrella of NINA. So what is the purpose of this survey? They are going to collect the general information about the nurses, and God knows it is going to be a big project, and NINA will contribute a general body of scientific knowledge to the nursing profession. Am I going to do the survey? Of course, I have done it. Am I going to encourage others to do it? Yes, I will do it. Because during this pandemic crisis, in this lockdown time, we saw life is changing. Life is changing its course. Within a matter of a second, in front of your eyes. It's changing. You may see your friend today, good. The next day, you may know the information that the friend is having fever, and within 2 days, there is no more information. Your friend may be not, the friend may not be there anymore. In this country, we came as nurses. We are blessed with education, good environment, food, health, wealth, and all other opportunities. It is time for us to repay through a simple survey. It is not only a single survey, it is a data collection. We know more than 5 decades the nurses are here, and many experienced nurses contributed their life, and they impacted the healthcare system in multiple ways. But there is no data to show their impactfulness. So here we are collecting the data and presenting to the public, and we are showing our great nursing care to the public. So I encourage everybody to participate. As a SINA president, I will encourage in our San Antonio community through text messaging, emailing, and networking methods such as website, talking to the leaders, and publishing newsletter through the newsletters. And I wish all the best for NINA, and we will be a successful contributing factor also, Madam President.
Thank you, Prasanna. Well done. The next we have Tara Sargent. She has done her MBA. She from Grand Canyon University in 2017. She is an ex-lieutenant and served Army for 4 years. She has 24 years of experience in various areas, including critical care, administration, and education. She exemplifies nursing excellence by incorporating transformational leadership into her practice, modeling the way to transform the health of our nation by inspiring and encouraging the fellow nurses to be the change agent. Presently, she has been working as the Director of Nursing at Montefiore Medical Center and an Assistant Director of Nursing at Northwell Health. She's also a private pilot. She is currently the Chapter President of Indian Nurses Association of New York. Tara, please take it away. Tara Sargent.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Suja, for that introduction. Thank you. This survey, as it came out, it was like a sort of a coincidence which happened. As the first week of March, as you all know, New York was the first hotspot for the pandemic. And I had a call from Indian Consulate by Mr. Vijay Krishna, who is a consulate member from New York. He contacted me to find out how our Indian nurses are doing. At the same time, he wanted to know how many Indian nurses are existing, means working in New York State. I didn't have an answer for it. I said approximately, I can say might be 1,000 or 2,000 because we have so many hospitals, 115 hospitals in New York, and we have Indian nationalities. So many Indian nurses are working, but I didn't have a data. So I was just brooding on it, but we were in the midst of this crisis going on, so I didn't have any time to. But then I heard from NINA saying that, oh, we are coming up with the survey because there is another approach from other part of another state that the requirement to need to know how many Indian nurses are existing in America. That is that data is very much needed. As a community, we contribute a lot towards this healthcare. We had made a great impact on this healthcare. So I think like we should be able to have this data, and also as the BSN is the basic need which is needed for practicing here, that as they are setting up that par for the nursing. And I think most of our Indian nurses have higher degrees higher than BSN and above. So like the Black American Africans and also Hispanic community, their organization association has done the survey, similar survey like this, where now we are coming up and we are doing these surveys. That's very good. And because of this, even though the survey came out 2 weeks ago, we didn't do much great work and reinforcing this into, because all of us were in the midst of this. As the things are settling down now, we are getting back to normalcy, and we're with a little bit of precautions and everything. Slowly we are getting, and as far so far, whatever survey was done was by the word of mouth. So I think with the word of mouth, we were able to get that many numbers. I think now we have to start aggressive campaigning to get more candidates. So we were planning one plan with me and Solomon. We talked to each other and we were able to come up with, to put out a paper template, like to get the survey filled out by when we go around or we meet somebody, if they don't have immediate access to internet or to the app. This was the best way. So we are starting that. We have started to send out the paper template so that they can fill it out and we can enter it in the system. The next one, which we are planning, is to have representatives for each areas, like area coordinators, so that the word of mouth means they will be able to coordinate and get the surveys done. And we have been putting out advertisements, like we have sending out the emails, we have put it in our NINA group, we have shared it among our personal WhatsApp groups and everything. And at the same time, we have to encourage and we have to get this done, because it's a very important, vital data to know that how many of us are here in this United States of America and how much we are contributing to this healthcare system. So with that said, I just wanted to finish with a quote: "Successful people begin where failures leaves off. Never settle for just getting the job done. Excel," by Tommy Hopkins. Thank you.
Excellent job, Tara. Thank you. Next, we have Alfonso Rahman. Alfonso Rahman is the founding president of Indian American Nurses Association of Maryland. She is an advanced practice nurse working in medical intensive care unit at Johns Hopkins Hospital. She is also an associate faculty at Notre Dame University of Maryland graduate programs. ENM run a program called Protection for COVID-19 Mask Project in collaboration with Kairiley of Baltimore. They distributed masks to the community rehab centers, senior centers, nursing homes, and hospitals across the state of Maryland. They also provided meals for the frontline workers in hospitals. With that, let me introduce Alfonso Rahman.
Thank you, Suja. Thank you for that great introduction. First of all, let me start with a big thank you to each and every healthcare worker for their dedication and commitment during this difficult time. We Asian Indian nurses are in the forefront of the pandemic, providing an exceptional care. And I agree with all the presidents who mentioned about the need for your data, need for the count of the nurses. And during this unprecedented time, a Maryland chapter is joining NINA hand in hand to get this work done. And we are a community of hardworking community, and we need to make sure that our work is appreciated and our work is valued and we are being counted. And so I requested all Maryland nurses to join this survey, and within 4 or 5 days, our survey numbers doubled in 5 days. That I was very happy to see the numbers today. And I have reached out to all cultural association and religious groups and healthcare facilities and communities in Maryland for their support. And today, Kairiley of Baltimore sent out the request to help NINA, requesting all Kairiley nurses to support NINA in this endeavor. It reached out to 800 emails, and I'm hoping more surveys to come out today. And we are a community of personal connection. So one way we do get this work done is contacting nurses by phone, by text, by emails. And we're working with everybody in Maryland. Our aim is to get all our INM members first, so that they can encourage their family members and their friends out of state, so that we will have all these 50 states covered with this survey. And I have also recruited our young and energetic Lavina, who is also helping us, reaching out to the North Indian community, and who are usually not part of many of our the association. And we really don't know how many nurses are in Maryland. INM is very new here. We only here for 3 years, and we only know maybe like 100 nurses. And I'm sure there are many nurses in Maryland. So we are trying to reach them and trying to get them to complete the survey. And so I also think that we can make the difference for the future of Indian community by spending 3 minutes, and I wholeheartedly support this endeavor, and my GB board is on board and my executive board is on board. So I'm sure with all our efforts and with the dedication and commitment to this survey, we're going to get this done. And thank you.
Thank you, Alfie. Excellent job. I take this opportunity to thank all the NINA chapter presidents for taking an active role in promoting this national survey. We will now move on with the question and answer sessions. I request Dr. Simi Justo Joseph to be the moderator of this session. Simi Justo Joseph.
Thank you, Suja. And I'm glad to hear the support so far. We heard from all our presidents who are present in this panel. We all have to do our part, I'm pretty sure. In the last webinar, we discussed so many questions which came across from whoever took the survey. So that's what we put together as the last webinar or panel discussion. So this time we have a different bunch of questions. And whoever is watching us in Facebook Live, if you have any concerns or anything about this survey, please type in your questions and we will be discussing that during the meeting. So the first question that I have for the panel is, what is the survey update so far?
Yeah, I can speak on that. We are very happy to share the results of the survey. As of this evening, we had 1,380 participants, to be exact, completed the survey. We started the survey launched it on May 10th on Mother's Day. And the average time taken for completion seems to be 3.5 minutes or little less than 3.5 minutes. But let's don't forget that it's not a timed survey. People may be doing other things in between. And I could see that many were able to complete it within 1.5 within 2 minutes. Also, it shows that the data shows that 85% have boldly shared their names. 15% chose to remain anonymous.
Thank you, Soli. I'm pretty sure the next week, I'm really hoping it can be doubled. We really don't know, what will be the outcome of this effort. My next question I have is, if someone can break down the responses by state, so whoever is watching from different states get an idea.
I can take that question, Simi. We do have data, total number of surveys, and also broken down by states. And as Soli said, so far we have 1,380 surveys, and Suja is projecting the result as of today. And some states are really doing very well, and some states we really need a little bit more work to be done. And of course, New York is doing very well, and Illinois is doing well, and Florida, Arizona, and Maryland is also doing well. And our goal is to reach every Indian nurse in all 50 states and US territories. And somehow we have to get them and encourage them and reach them. That is our goal. We can do it with the support of every Indian nurse, regardless of the state he or she practicing in. We just need to find those nurses and get them to complete the survey. I am very confident with all the work we are doing, we will be successful in reaching out to them, and we will be able to get this done soon.
Thank you, Alfie. That was really encouraging. I'm pretty sure, most of our Malayalis or Indians, healthcare field is very common, in our Indian population. So every household should have a nurse, right? The next question I have is, are you seeing any notable trends so far from the survey responses? So if we can share that trend, so people will be interested to, see the end result. Who can do that? Agnes, I think you're muted.
You're so right. I was muted. I'll be happy to take that question. So on behalf of the task force here, I want to say a few things to the task force. As I'm listening to the presidents and I'm listening to all the other members who spoke thus far, I just begin to feel that there is so much truth in that statement that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And I am so encouraged to hear the passion and the excitement in the voices and the plans of the presidents. I think we are here going to make history by getting so much participation from all the nurses in Asia, in America, so that we would really be able to share with the world what's the contribution of the Asian Indian nurses in the US. So I'll share a few things that I happen to glean out of the data so far. So I think most of you are familiar with the International Year of the Nurse that's going on at this time. We also know that the Institute of Medicine came out in 2000 with this clarion call that we all have to lead healthcare in the US. And their goal that was projected was by 2020, 80% of our nurses will be bachelor's prepared. Do you know that our data so far of the 1,380 shows we surpassed that goal? Most of our nurses are beyond bachelor's nursing. So that's awesome about the data that we are seeing here. 39% are master's prepared, the rest are bachelor's prepared, which is 42%. So we crossed the threshold, right? And then we have 5% who are DNP prepared. And then there's a small percentage of 1.5 who are PhD prepared or doctorally prepared, PhD prepared nurses. So look at the wealth in Indian nurses. I just can't wait to tell the whole world what Indian nurses' contribution is to US healthcare. The other things I'm noticing, 19% of the people who have taken the survey so far are APRNs. Yeah. You should be happy about it, right? 20% of our nurse practitioners are in the Indian group. 56% work as the RNs. And we have SAGEs in the Asian Indian population of nurses, 3% of our retired nurses. We stand on their shoulders because they came here probably 50 years ago, and they are rightfully retired, but they have so much to contribute. So I like to call them the SAGEs of the Indian nurses. 60% of our nurses are doing inpatient care. So again, they were the heroes for COVID pandemic. 60% of our nurses who participated were working with the COVID patients. Shouldn't we be proud of them? And 15% work in outpatient areas. Now let me tell you a little bit, because you asked the question, something notable. The contribution in years of this 1,300 plus people 20 to 25 years, 59% of our nurses who are already surveyed have contributed up to 25 years of their work to US healthcare. Isn't that something great? And 7% of our people have given more than 30 years to US healthcare. This is why I think the survey is important, to be able to show to the world, to show to our back home, to say, look what we are contributing to the healthcare, right? When it comes, I'm sorry, am I taking too long?
No, not at all. I'm wondering what is the response of male nurses?
The male nurses, I'm so sorry. I looked at the number, but I don't remember it clearly. But before the end of the presentation, I will give you that number. I'll look it up. When it comes to education, for basic education, where did we get our basic education? 85% was in India, but a good 15% got educated in the US. So these are some of the notable trends that I wanted to share with you all. But let me tell you a few things about what all our people are doing, our Indian nurses are doing. We have certified oncology nurse practitioners. We have research professionals. We have someone who is a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certified nurse. Okay. We have infection preventionists. We have home health personnel, professional development specialists, certified diabetes educator. We have one of our own members who is an accreditation surveyor. She works for HVAC, okay? We have a nurse, or maybe more, who is also a cosmetologist. We have someone who works in the Department of Corrections in forensic nursing. And then, of course, we have people who are working in bedside nursing and education. I think a good percentage, I think 4% of our people are academic faculty. I'm just completely bowled over by what our nurses are doing. So that's it. I'm excited.
Thank you, Agnes. I think, whoever is listening to us will definitely get encouraged to hear us every week's update and, of course, the final result. All right, let me move on to the next question. What we have is, what are the updated task force strategies to spread the work? I know some were discussed by the presidents, but as a task force, what are the strategies that we are looking into? Ingrid, you're muted.
Yeah, I'll take that question, Simi. First of all, I want to thank the task force for taking this big project. It's really a historical project. And most of all, I want to thank each and every person who has taken the survey and is working for completing the survey and making this project a very successful project. We have, as a strategy, what we want to do is, our goal is to reach each and every state. That is all 50 states we want to reach, all the nurses, as many nurses as possible, so that they can take the survey. Right now, according to the results here, what we have is there are approximately 21 states with absolutely 0 surveys taken. So the strategy, what we want to do is maybe divide these states among us, whoever wants to volunteer, and start calling those, respectable states and find out how we can get in touch with them and get the surveys done in those states. So I would go ahead and say I will try Alaska and Hawaii. I'm going to call these 2 states. I don't know how, but I'm going to find a way. With my president, Ms. Akama's guidance, I can do anything, I think, in Houston. And she doesn't know I'm saying this, that I've decided to take Alaska and Hawaii. This is news to her. So in the audience here, is there anybody else who would like to contact some states who do not have any surveys done? So maybe if you decide, you can contact us, contact me and let me know, or one of y'all can look at the chart there and decide to join those, contact those states. And another thing I wanted to bring to your attention is there are about 5 states with less than 5 or less surveys are conducted. So our strategy should be to contact the members in these states. And if we do not have any members there, we have to find out if anybody in Houston or anybody in your state has connections in those states who have hardly done any survey, like 5 or less. Another way we want to promote our work is by advertising on TV, radio, and contacting cultural organizations, religious organizations, and alumni organizations, etc., which most of us are already doing. But what we need to do is, I think we need to work harder on this and be consistent. And with everybody's effort, I think we can achieve this, our goal, by reaching each and every state and do our best.
Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid. That was a great update. I'm pretty sure whoever is watching in FB Live, maybe they will put a word out there for us, okay, I'm here to help, in these states. So yes. let's see. How is the, I know we initially kept June 10th as our deadline, which that was kind of a vague deadline because we didn't know how people will respond to this kind of survey nationwide. And also now we know how much effort we all have to take it for our Indian nurses to take the survey. So what's your thought on extending the survey after the deadline?
Simi, I'll take that question. So in the start, we started this about 2 weeks ago, and our initial plan was to conclude the survey on June 10th. But now that the COVID pandemic has slowly calmed down, we would realize that we have to continue this longer till we reach a satisfactory number in terms of every nurses present in every state. And like Ms. Ingrid said, we have to reach out to those states who have also not started the survey in terms of those nurses. We will have to review literature in order to help us determine the approximate extent of the immigrants that are present here in US, and in order to set a benchmark and our target and for the possible most optimum numbers. So yeah, we'll have to continue the survey probably longer than June 10th in the upcoming days, and hopefully get more numbers now that present, since the pandemic is slowly calming down a little bit towards around the nation.
Thank you, Lavina.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. What's the point in me taking the survey? What is it for me? If someone is asking that question, like, what is the benefit for me? People always look for the benefit for themselves than a global benefit. So that question really came up.
I can take that question. Well, basically, taking the surveys are shared responsibility, to promote an image. You want to promote an image, and you want to impact nursing by the Indians. You want to show that. So basically, you're investing really in creating the potential to provide a culturally and linguistically appropriate care for the Indian community. Basically, you're not going to get really any material reward or accolades by participating in the survey, but it's really your voice that's really counted in that results of the survey, which is priceless, actually, which is a matter of pride. And that result is really, like I said, very priceless. It's more important than a material accolade, right? So each person's data makes a huge difference. And besides, the survey only takes 3 to 4 minutes, but the impact that it has, it can last for many, many years. And really, this data collection, we can really look at the data and analyze it. We can do so much with data. So, and we could actually have a number when someone asks you how many Indian nurses are there. We can in each state, and you can approximate the numbers by the survey. So I really encourage everyone to really take a look at the survey and encourage your friends, colleagues who are Indians to really take the time, just take few minutes of your day to fill out the survey. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. As you also mentioned, and as well as Tara mentioned, which I was surprised that Tara also got a question from the Congress people to, asking for the numbers. In the same way, I also got a call from Chamber of Commerce asking for, is there any way that we can give them a number? They probably wanted to promote Indian nurses in this pandemic time. And it was kind of a shameful situation to say that as a national organization, we also don't know, how many Indian nurses are there. So that also, I was surprised to hear from Tara. So they were really trying from different states to see if they can get a number. So this is our pride moment, I think. We are moving forward. The next question is, how do we follow up with friends or coworkers who do not want to answer the survey question? There can be people that who refuses.
I can get that question, Simi. What I had been doing was to really try to reach friends, and my coworkers used to be a lot of retired people. Some of them really don't want to take the survey, so I've been doing it for them in a paper copy, like somebody was mentioning earlier. When they don't want to really take the survey, and if they're telling you the reasons, be very careful with listening to their perspective of why they're saying that. Try to listen to them and give them the answers, some of the things we were just telling here. Why is it important for us? But don't ever minimize or be disrespectful for their answers, saying that, oh, that's not like that, like make it like their opinion is not counted. So we want to convince them it's important. And if you say it in a nice way, respectful way, and they will really, usually my experience, most of the time they will say, oh, go ahead, Sarah, you do it. I don't want to do it. Or a lot of them will do it themselves. I'll go do it. But now, if there is one or two people said that they really don't want to do it, and then we really have to ask them, can I really still count you as a nurse as part of the survey in our group? We won't do all the demographics, but we just want to count you. If they say yes, we are only doing the surveys or including them if they give us the permission to do it. It's not that we are just putting their name. So it's very important to be respectful of their opinion, their fears, and their viewpoint. And then a lot of times we'll be able to convince them, and eventually they will do it. My experience with the people, about 95% of them, or even 98% of them said, okay, go ahead and do it, or I'll do it. So that is important.
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy. We respect, everybody's opinion. But if we can count them as just as a number, it's good for our outcome as well. Okay, next question is, what is the purpose of the survey? Is it worth putting this much effort to get this result?
I believe I can take that question. I think the panelists who spoke before me partly answered the question, but I can reiterate the points that they have said. And thanks, Simi. There are two parts for that question, and I'll answer both parts. The first question was, what's the purpose of the survey? The purpose of the survey is to find the number of Indian nurses, to make it simple, to find the total number of Indian nurses in the US. And also the second purpose, which is associated, is to know their demographics. Previous speaker, Dr. Therady, said something about the demographic in terms of their workplace and qualification. And I do not want to repeat on those, but we just want to start from the grassroots level onwards, and we need to find the number of people, number of nurses who work in the bedside, because now when COVID-19 happened, when all this kind of epidemic was going on, we were worried about the health and safety of the nurses who were working at the bedside. And we just want to know the accurate number of people who work at the bedside. Plus, we just want to know how many are in advanced practice, how many are working as faculty, how many are working in the research, how many are specialists like certified midwife, psychiatric nurse practitioners, CRNAs, that's a highly paid group in the US, the certified nurse anesthetist. We just need to know who they are. And also, we cannot discount the fact that the diversity of Indians and Indian population in the US, like diversity in terms of language, diversity in terms of age group, the gender, and all those kind of things. When I say about the age group, I need to mention the baby boomers. Someone was mentioning here the people with 30 or 40 and 50 years of experience versus the new gens or the millennials or generation Y or Z or post millennials. And we need to know who they are, and we need to have a number identified as soon as possible. At the same time, US being the melting pot of the world, and India is also considered as a melting pot, and also the largest democracy, where we claim in the US as the oldest democracy. So there's a convergence that's happening in here, and we need to know what's our position and the quality of health services that we provide in the US, the richness of that, the nature of work, what else? The governance, the cohesiveness, like how are we united and how can we unite more? So those are the things that comes into my mind when someone asks me about the purpose of doing a survey. The most important, more than that, is the pride that we can take back or take away from being or by saying that we are a part of the global economy. So the world is looking at us, and we need to take pride on that. Number two, the second part of the question is the effort versus the result. Is there a benefit in doing a survey? As for any survey, a feasibility study is a part of that. We'll always look into the effort versus impact kind of thing. And NINA is also very willing to do an impact effort analysis in the future, or we may do it periodically to know whether it's working good and working well. So we're ready to do that, and we will do that. At the same time, if anyone listening to us has anything to contribute towards the numbers, so if you have a research, if you have any robust findings anywhere in a website, printed, not printed, doesn't matter, please provide it to us so that we can add it to our numbers so that our work will be more easy. And if you don't find a number, if you don't find a valid research, then your responsibility is to be a part of this survey and make it a grand success. I think I answered both questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, Bobby. Yeah, thank you for those great answers that you provided. And also, I'm pretty sure the upcoming generation is looking at us, and we looked at our, retired nurses. They are the reason we are here. So the generation to come, if we will be a factor for them to be encouraged to be, nurses. So this is going to be a great outcome. I'm all positive for it. The next question is, can NINA contact Licensing Board or National Bureau of Labor for an exact number of Indian nurses? This question came up last time also. I think many people have some sort of idea that why can't we get from somewhere else?
So last time when the question came up, I had answered the question. So let me repeat that answer again here, probably with a little more explanation. So this question is a good one to ask, can we not get the data? And it is kind of a piggybacking on what Bobby just mentioned. If we have readily available data anywhere, we will take it. We did some search to find out if we can get such data, but unfortunately, the data that we can get is we may have to extrapolate and look at what percentage of the the American population are immigrants from India? And then look at the total number of Asian nurses that are there in the data bank of the state boards of nursing or the US labor studies, wherever we can go, but it will be an approximation method. We would never know what is the exact number. Therefore, even though it is difficult, we have embarked on this, but Indians are not afraid of doing things which others have not chosen, which others have chosen not to do. The fact that we came from thousands of miles away, looking for a better future or to make an effective contribution says that we don't get deterred by difficulties. So we're not going to do that. We will try the hard way and do it, but it is important to get the data. So labor boards, state boards, they cannot give us the exact numbers. That's the truth. And so we have to try this census method. And we know there's power in everyone to be able to come forth and give the data. So that's my short answer to it. I had promised that I would give you the breakdown, the gender breakdown of the nurses so far. So the answer is 93.42% are females and 6.29%, an important 6.29% of our Indian nurses are males. So what I mean to say is that this could be representative of the gender population of gender-wise breakdown of nurses.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes, for the update. I mean, all the male nurses need to hear and to be encouraged to take the survey as well. That's why I came up with that question also. Thank you. My other question is the need of the survey professional, political, or religious? Someone asked this question. You know, people always think about other ways of reasons.
With your permission, let me take the question. The survey is just for professional purpose only, not at all for political or religious reasons. And NINA is doing it. It's on behalf of NINA. We need to let the community, let the public, let the United States know our strength, our power. And we may seek the assistance of cultural, religious organizations or government officials to help us collect the data, analyze it, disseminate it. But that's it. You won't be called because you are doing this survey. No private information is requested except email address, but that's also optional. So no, it's not for political or religious reasons. It's for professional purpose only. Remember, let's show the world the great, the power, the strength we have, the tremendous, the incredible contributions Asian Indians are providing to the community. And yeah, as we heard again and again, let's remember there is strength in numbers.
Thank you, Soli. And I think, one of the other reasons we are looking forward is, US healthcare system can look at our data and say, these are a great Indian nurses coming from India, and they have contributed so much to US, and it's worth to get more Indian nurses from India as well, So that can be a different scenario right there, because all the other countries as well praise Indian nurses because of their dedication, their education, their work ethics, everything. So I'm really hopeful for that. We have completed the questions so far we came across. Suja, can you look at some other questions in the FB lab?
Sure. Simi, I'm seeing one question from Tara Sarjan now. I was faced with a particular situation when I approached an NP to fill out the survey. NP stated, I am not an RN, but a provider. So in that case, how to go about with it? That's the question. Who want to answer that? I can see Agnes's hand.
Yes. I want to ask the APPs who are here in this panel to try answering that question.
I think as an advanced practitioner, I know, and a few people may answer this. We are basically nurses. We are RNs first, then only we became the APN. APN is a different work we do, but we are nurses. I'm proud to say that I'm a nurse. I never say that I'm a physician. Physician is different. I can say I'm a advanced practice nurse provider because that is a level up than a nurse. But I know some of the APN population has that mentality towards they wanted to be different. They wanted to be no different than RN. I'm not sure why is that, but that's my opinion. I know many others can have the same opinion.
Thank you, Simi. That was a very nice answer. And Agnes.
I think Lata was trying to say something.
Hey, I am an advanced practitioner, but my profession is nursing. Advanced practice nursing is my role. If I don't have my RN license, I do not have my APRN certification. APRN is not a licensure, it is a certification. So my profession is nursing. My role is advanced practice nursing. So I will be counted. So I am requesting all the APNs to be counted as well.
Thank you, Lada.
Thank you, Lada. And I can speak for myself too. And I'm an RN.
Oh yeah, Alfie wants to say something.
Go ahead, Alfie.
And this is a great question. And I think as a profession, we need to think about this little bit more. Why are these nurse practitioners are thinking differently, or CRNAs are thinking differently? And I think as a nursing as a profession, we need to include all APRN, all RNs, all levels of nurses. We have MBA nurses, case managers, faculties. We have deans. They're also nurses. So deans, vice deans, and they cannot say that I'm not a nurse. I only teach. I never touched a patient for last 20 years. Then I'm not a nurse. So I think this is a great question, and I'm so glad that we are discussing this here, because this is something we need to discuss more and more, because it's not only NPs, we have other advanced practice nurses who are like clinical nurse specialists, NPs, CRNAs, and nurse midwives. So we have to bring them all together under the profession of nursing. And this is I think we need to discuss more about this.
Thank you.
One other thing, if I may just quickly add, if you look at the licensing board, the nurse, advanced practice professionals, LPNs, RNs, they all come under the rule and regulation of the Nurse Practice Act. That is the governing of how nurses are done. I love the answer that Lata shared. I am an RN, my role is an APRN, right? So similarly, this is a good question. I'm so glad, Tara, you asked that question.
Yeah, I believe like as we are advancing in our nursing practice with our degrees and all, I think we are losing our basic what qualification we attain, and we are uprooting ourselves from that level to a next level. Basically, we are forgetting what we basically are. We have to start rooting to that. And also the trend is changing in the nursing. When we were graduated, it was a compulsory that we have to have 2 years of at least bedside nursing before you do an advanced, like a master's in nursing or anything. But here we are not doing that. You graduate from medicine straight into a master's program, into NP, and you come up. So basically they think they never did the bedside nursing, and they are not considering themselves as, we cannot blame them too. Might be the system has something to do with that too.
That's a great point, Tara.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, everyone. And I can also speak for myself. I am a nurse, but I'm proud to say that I'm a nurse executive. I am a nurse administrator. I'm a nurse educator. And I worked as a staff nurse. So, I mean, being a nurse, you can have diverse, roles that you might play, as you guys mentioned, CRNA. I am back to school for my advanced practice nursing, which is nurse practitioner program too. So we can do anything as nurses. So we need to project ourselves as nurses, and you can say, I'm a nurse, I'm Dr. So-and-so. That's how the world goes now. And now we have another question from the Facebook. I'm looking at it. It is Sheila Matthews. She's asking, can you reach out to all hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, or other healthcare organizations to reach out to more nurses? Thank you, Sheila Matthews, for that question. Who would like to take that answer?
I'm happy to take that question. And here's what it is. I think it's a great suggestion. Thank you, Sheila, for making that suggestion. We want to be careful when we're approaching hospital authorities or nursing home authorities to say that could you give this to Indian nurses, because that may be perceived as we are imposing it on them. So if we have a great working relationship with the organization, I think Ingrid tried that with MD Anderson, she was telling me. So if we can establish a relationship and seek out their help to be able to spread this out, or we request their help to post it on their staff room or their break room as an invitation to do the survey, maybe a way to go. But I do believe that most organizations will be supportive, provided we approach it the right way. But it's a great suggestion, and I think I want to try out something like that in Indiana.
And also, I was thinking in Illinois, we have some organized, American Nurses Association in Illinois. Probably Annie Abraham will know their contacts. We have had meetings with them as well. So we can approach that way, so they can send out to their members if there is any Indian nurses, take the survey.
No, I'd be happy to look at that option too. And to just add to what Agnes said, we also have to be careful about surveys in general, because there's hospitals that are union and non-union, so it could be interpreted in the wrong way. If you're a non-union hospital, if you're asking for surveys. But I think if we have a script, I plan to do that after this, like a script of exactly what I'm going to say so you don't make mistakes. And so let's say I pass it on to someone else, they'll say the same thing. If we have some sort of a script when we approach, like a little index card with the information, and people can approach their friends. You got to be careful about doing it at work time and all that stuff, depending on where you work. So you just have to be cautious around those things, but it's certainly something that we can look at. Bottom line is we just have to get more people to participate. So whatever it takes, we'll have to do it.
I think one of the best way at this point for us, because we tried the social media, we had enough publicity out there. I think one of the ways we really need to reach out nurses as personal contact. So like now churches are opening back, and then so we can have our friends and the people in the church, so each organization like that. So if we have connected members or who are out there, we know they are out there. So if we approach them, and if they take upon themselves to just give it back a little bit back for the nursing profession. We had been blessed in this country. We blessed this country with our education, the opportunities we got. We were instrumental in being a big part of helping our country in back home. So we've done a lot of things. So it's a matter of taking a survey for 3 minutes. I think the point is, like I myself used to do this, that whenever it plays as a survey, oh, I don't want to do it. But let me tell you, ever since I had been in this task for this survey, I must have got at least 4 surveys from different people. I did all of them because it's, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing. I need 3 minutes, I need 2 minutes to give it to these people to come up with the better result or whatever they're looking for. And one more thing I wanted to say, this is, I think sometime back, I think Solomon, you remember in one of our conferences, we said, we have to hoot for ourselves, Yeah. If we don't, you ask that question, if we don't, nobody will. So the data that we have is, unbelievable. And there's no other ethnic minority group who are as powerful or as resourceful or as bright or as with degrees like we are. I'm not talking about American nurses. But we came from another country and we established, and we're producing, we're contributing. So please give 2 minutes of your time and be inclusive of the group. So you can be proud of to be called as nurses in this country. There's nothing to be ashamed of anymore. I think people used to say things about nurses. We all know that. That's all gone. It is the other way around now. People want to come to nursing. People want to make money. People want to be CNOs and deans, and there's and also DNPs, nurse practitioners. We cannot get enough of them. I mean, our nurses to do anything else because they all are going for DNPs. Any young nurse who for DNP. I mean, that's so powerful. We are a very powerful group, and we just have to hoot our own strength and capitalize on this. That was my appeal. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take that much.
Thank you, Sarah.
I don't see any more questions. Anything you see on your end?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And one thing before we wrap up, the last time we discussed a few questions, it's on the website as FAQs. So we will be adding these questions to the FAQ list. So if someone asking you about any of these questions, if you don't know the answer, please refer to that.
Anybody has any other questions? Anybody would like to share anything? Your thoughts, your views?
If you can give me 30 seconds, I just wanted to stand here, say something on behalf of the APRNs. I think, to be fair to them, they're conflicted, only not in a bad way. They're conflicted because of the way they are being expected to perform. They're being asked by the physicians to be providers, like providers. And then we are saying that you're an RN. They are doing the role like a provider. They diagnose, they prescribe, they treat. So naturally, they tend to feel they're a different class of people. But I think our orientation to them is you are an advanced practice nurse. So we are proud of what you do because you're like the providers and you're making a huge difference. But we would like you to be in the group of nurses, although you are often playing the role of provider and then you're playing the role of nurses. You don't have to be inside us, but it is important to realize that they're also being pulled in two different directions. So naturally they feel, where do we fit in? And therefore they're asking the question, I think.
Thank you, Agnes. Anybody else would say a few words? Okay, hearing none. So I request Dr. Lata Joseph, our NINA secretary and lead planner of American Nurses Credentialing Center, to say the word of thanks.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here and excited to be part of this journey. So when NINA embarked on this national survey, we knew that this is a Herculean effort. And we were decided to kind of like take it and see where we can twist it. And we are doing. So we are reaching out to a lot of people, gaining momentum. Thanks to the community members, cultural and social organizations, and the religious organizations for supporting us, because you all love nurses. You all want nurses' effort to be recognized. You don't want to put the Indian nurses down because you love us. And also a big thank you to the Syro-Malabar Catholic Diocese, which is supporting this survey in a large means. And please, please, please get the word out to anyone possible, everyone possible, and help us. So thank you to all the viewers for encouraging and asking some questions when you meet us, either online or face-to-face. That keeps us targeted and focused. And we know what questions others have. So we can address and people get a clear message and they take the survey. So you are helping us. Thank you for doing that. Please continue doing that. Then our chapter presidents, they are the backbone of NINA. When any local event comes, when any national event comes, they are the people who are running the NINA. And for this survey also, they are leading. So thank you to all the chapter presidents of all 19 chapters for all the various effort you are taking. As we heard today from Ms. Akamakalel, Dr. Annie Abraham, Dr. Bobby Verghese, then Dr. Alfonso Rahman, Dr. Prasanna Parakel, Ms. Tara Shajan, and all the other task force members. Thank you for all the effort which is happening locally and nationally. And so speaking of task force members, my hard-working colleagues for this Herculean task, Alfonso Rahman, Bobby Verghese, Prasanna Parakel, Ms. Ingrid D'Souza, Ms. Levina Patel, Ms. Jessie Kurian, Mrs. Mary Philip, Mr. Haridas Tangaben, Ms. Ajimol Lucas, Ms. Lucas and Mr. Haridas could not be here because of their busy schedule. Then we have more, Simi Justo Joseph, Suja Thomas, Dr. Solimol Kurula, Ms. Sarah Gabriel, with our captain, Dr. Agnes Taradi. Thank you for investing your time and effort in this task, because it's a historic effort, not only in NINA, not only Indian community, not only Indian nursing community. The US nursing community is going to say that this is the task force who put all the effort to count these Indian nurses who are scattered throughout the United States. And thanks to Ms. Suja Thomas and Dr. Simi Justo, the experienced moderators who cannot do any better job than this as a moderator. Thank you very much. Now, for my viewers, thank you all. As we heard again and again, there is strength in numbers and there is value in data. Let us get it. Please help us get this. Together we can. I am counted. What about you? Are you counted? If you are counted, what about your neighbor? What about your old classmate who is in Alaska? What about that cousin in Chicago? What about the friend who works with you at night shift? Let them get counted also. Please help us. Won't you help us? Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good weekend and good rest of the day.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, everyone.
10,000 plus people have completed the survey. Thanks to everyone who has completed the survey. Those who have not, please take the few minutes to complete the survey and be counted. The survey takes less than 4 minutes to complete. We greatly appreciate your time, interest, and support. Any questions, please email ninanews@gmail.com or call 1-8861-NAINA or 1-88-616-2462. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy. God bless you all. Have a good night. Bye.